Cece?
Mom?
Wyatt?
Dad?
We interrupt this program to bring you...
All right, everybody. My name is Kevin.
And I'm John.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Julie.
And we are The Real Movie Guys. And welcome back to another episode of The Real Review, the series where we review and discuss all your favorite movies. And ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of year again. It's Real Christmas. Real Christmas is a special event where we take a look at all your favorite and not so favorite holiday movies. On today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at Netflix's Family Switch. When a chance encounter with an astrological reader causes the walkers to wake up to a full body switch, can they unite to land a promotion, college interview, record deal, and a soccer tryout? I have never seen a movie so composed by what I tend to believe is AI. This movie is by far one of the worst things I've seen in quite some time. Not even just as a Christmas movie, just as a movie in general. I can't even tell you I had any enjoyment with this movie. This is kind of what's wrong with Hollywood. Okay, those are the things you're expecting me all to say. And the truth is, yeah, it is all that. I didn't really have a good time with this movie. It's a laundry list of bad, this movie. And, I wasn't sure what I was thinking when I was going to watch this movie. I'm like, all right, you got Ed Helms, he's a great he's a funny actor. You got Jennifer Garner, she's a funny actress. It's on Netflix. It didn't come to theaters, so that's like your first alarm that there's a red flag going somewhere. Netflix isn't always the best when they pick up movies, but Chihuahua, man, this was not so great. I had a really bad time. We have a lot to talk about, and I really can't wait. I think AI, I wouldn't be surprised if someone just typed in their computer, give me Freaky Friday with a family during Christmas, enter. And then this movie kind of popped.
And they all have really important life events that they all have to
do. We're going to talk about one-dimensionality, my lady. We're going to talk about that. But Adam, let's start with you. I bet you really enjoyed this movie. Is this your movie of the year? That's what I heard the rumor was.
You know what? I was going to try and defend it, but I can't. It's painful and predictable.
Painful and predictable. The two P's of ow.
Yeah. It's what a slog to get through. And, I had to take a break because I was like, I have to power through.
We had to stop.
Yeah, we did have to stop. I actually watched it in 2 sittings. It was so bad.
Yeah,
I was going to put on The Irishman because I felt like that was shorter. And that's like almost 4-hour movie. And that felt significantly shorter than watching Family Switch. It's tough, Adam. I'm surprised you even finished the movie. I almost didn't make it, to be honest, with how bad it is.
I almost didn't either, so I'm right there with you.
And I can't wait to talk about it because I know we love to talk about positivity on this channel. I think we are a pretty positive channel, except John. He's shaking his head. He's always Mr. Negative. But for the most part, we try to find the best in things. I don't know, man. I don't know if there's a soul in this movie.
I'm positive it's bad.
I'm positive it's bad, and I'm excited to talk about it because sometimes you need one of these to get you going a little bit. John, all right, man, let it out. This was actually your choice. Don't be all Mr. Secretive over there. You're the one who suggested this movie, so...
Yeah, I suggested this hot garbage crap. Listen,
I did the second you press play where you're like, oh, shit.
What have I done?
Listen, when I watched the preview, I was like, what the hell did I do? This stuff sucks. And then going throughout the whole damn movie, I was like, oh my god, this has to get better.
It didn't.
It also seemed like
worse. They
could have done so much with this movie, and it's just like, oh my god, just do something other than this crap.
It
wasn't even funny.
It's hard to say what it could have done differently because it didn't do anything original to begin with, which I think is probably the biggest problem with this movie, which we'll talk about too. Julie, we already obviously know how you feel, but why don't you give us a little glimpse into what you thought?
Whew. Well, you know what? It did do something original where I was not expecting this, and the second it happened, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Everyone switches bodies. You're like, okay, this is what it is. They head down the stairs, and what do you know? The baby and the dog switch bodies too.
And the worst production of CGI I've ever seen in my entire life.
Woo! That was horrible. And that was like the first 20 minutes. I was like, oh, dear God, we're in for it. I'm like, what did they do to deserve that? This movie sucked. in every way possible. Maybe I got a couple chuckles here and there, but it was due to like people that weren't even the main cast.
It was like a sad chuckle. Right?
Rough.
It was
Yeah.
just like, oh.
I think it's because you're like so miserable and you're like, this is so horrible that you get like a glimmer of something and you're like, good. That's kind of good. I also hated the fact that Weezer was in his band. I thought it was just so annoying.
Yeah.
That's just a nitpick of mine.
A lot of people show up in this movie but
Weezer being part of Dead or Alive, really, that sucked.
Yeah, so let's talk about why this movie doesn't work on almost just every single level possible imaginable here. The premise, I think we can all agree here. It's pretty much Freaky Friday. That's what this movie is. It's Freaky Friday with a family. And ironically, the part that's kind of interesting is I think Jennifer Garner and then Emma Myers, who plays Cece, the daughter, I feel like they are the main characters and almost like they were the movie maybe that they wanted to make at some point, because that felt like their story felt the most comfortable in this, while the dad and the son were kind of just like added on as like this weird like almost subplot, but there's supposed to be a main character plot too. Again, this movie's just a mess. And again, I joked about the whole AI thing, but I think there's something credence to it. I really do, because it just feels like it's a mishmash of different ideas that just have no bearing together. And let's just start with the way this movie's made, right? The first thing I think you notice when you watch this movie, and I don't know if anybody else noticed, is the speed of this movie. Everyone talks as if they're on 2x speed, which I know a lot of people like to watch YouTube videos on that. I hope you're not doing that here, because that's not good. We're very important. But if you are doing 2x speed, Adam, don't you feel like no one talks like that? This whole movie is literally nobody talks like that, whether it's too fast or just dialogue. Like, I'm reading dialogue like, wow, I love Christmas. Christmas is fantastic. Don't you think so, Dad? Dad, it's great. I really love it. It's a great time. No one talks like that. That's this whole movie.
Yeah, it was like, whoa, highs and lows. And then there were some scenes where I felt like the characters weren't on screen for like maybe more than a minute and a half, it felt like.
Right.
Like immediately we would cut to a different scene.
Right. And then it's like, and it's interesting because I think the actors and actors, Ed Helms and Jennifer Garner are a good actor and actress. They are phenomenal. I mean, they've been in really great movies. Jennifer Garner's done this before, and they even joke about it in the movie with 13 going on 30. She's done this style of movie kind of before. And I actually do think Emma Myers, who plays Cece, she's actually in Wednesday. She plays Wednesday's friend in the show. And I think I think she's actually a competent actress, and I think she could be fun. And I feel like she was maybe trying at times, and I felt kind of bad for her. But everybody else that just like shows up in this movie, as Julie said, freaking Weezer, God, Julia, it's a laundry list of people that were just showing up. Paul Scheer. Yeah, Paul Scheer.
The one guy who I really liked, I don't remember his name. I liked the Yale interview guy.
Oh, yeah, he was actually kind of funny. I don't know who.
But it was just like this random cast of like people. Again, you can't name them, but you know you've seen them somewhere. You're like, oh, that person.
It's like a lot of B-list, or actually I shouldn't say B-list. It's like D to Z-list, like comedy celebrities that show up in different things. I like to think of this movie as a paycheck movie. You kind of show up, you get paid, you go home. Everyone has a great Christmas, because that's what they did with this movie. I mean, it's clear night and day. You know. It's a laundry list of things that are bad in Hollywood. I think there's at least over 10 trademarkable songs in this movie, right? I would say at least 10. Did you know Ed Helms was supposed to be in Maroon 5? I bet we all believe that.
Maroon 6.
Yeah, that made a lot of sense.
We had Howie Mandel. That was another one.
Yeah, and in what world is Ed Helms a jock? I didn't see that.
Jock and
rock star.
Yeah, rock star.
Yeah, I
was like, you have Weezer in this movie, and like they're not singing. You have Ed Helms singing, but yeah.
Yeah, Ed Helms is not that. I mean, I know Ed Helms from The Office, where he was in what was it, the male
Sweeney Todd, and the acapella.
Yeah, the acapella stuff. Like, I love that kind of stuff. That's why I think Ed Helms, not as a rock star. Adam, that lost Adam, I think.
When his bandmates showed up, and they're like, and I think that's where they first mentioned about the Maroon 5, and
singing in the car, and they start playing a Maroon 5 song, and I'm like,
I could start imagining where this is all going, and I'm like, I am not looking forward to any of this. It's just it's a playing, on a downward spiral the entire time.
Yeah, just the miscasting, I think, is what it is. I don't even know if it's miscasting. I don't think anyone cast in this movie would have done a good job. It's one of those scripts that are just truly rotten to the core, just from, inception to ending. I just don't think there's anything that really could have worked for this movie. John, did you find anything you actually enjoyed this movie besides when it was over?
Well, I was going to say the ending was very good.
It's over,
right?
yes.
I was so happy.
What about the Christmas theme, John? Now, this is billed as a Christmas movie. Do you think it kind of invites the Christmas spirit? Because I kind of don't feel like it did.
No, I think that's a load of bullshit that they put out. Also, the way that they have to the way that they can get back into their normal bodies is another out of this world, stupidest BS you could have came up with. And then this guy's like, yeah, I'll work overnight to get this done. It's like, please, just don't ever write this again.
It makes no sense. There's a lot of things you could tell, like Adam, like with the PSA 10 Charizard, like they're just trying to put in like, hey, you guys know about like super relevant things nowadays. It's in this movie. Like, why was that in there? I don't understand.
Why did we watch this?
Because it was billed as a Christmas movie, and we need to be good with the algorithm to watch new things, because that's what people want on YouTube.
It was one of those movies that just so happened to occur during Christmas time. Like the most Christmas was the beginning where they tried to force it down our throats. They were like, hey, you just want to let everybody know this is a Christmas film.
Yeah, you know that
we got a Christmas tree.
Christmas song. Hey, we know that Christmas
song. Run Rudolph. Candy cane costume.
Run Rudolph's in this movie. It's a Christmas movie now. And people say Die Hard's not a Christmas movie. This is, I always have a hard time with these kind of movies because they're so bad. Like, it's so easy. We can just sit here and we'll make fun of the movie the whole time because of how terrible it is. And there's a lot of enjoyment with that. Don't get me wrong. The baby and the dog switching bodies, like Julie said, is by far the most haunting thing I've ever seen in my entire life, next to the emotionless faces of the Polar Express from the last video that we did. No, this is actually worse. Why was that a thing? I feel like movies have like a certain formula that they have, right? There's certain like standards that they have to set in these kind of movies. Like they have that super lowbrow humor that maybe like your parents will laugh at. Like I could see my mom laughing at this if she's watching this. Sorry, Mom, but I can see her like, oh, look, the baby and the dog switch bodies. Julie's like cracking up because she's like, that's true. Look, they switch bodies. Oh, that's so silly. Who does that cater to? That makes no one smarter for this. Like, we don't really need this. Not to say it doesn't have its place in comedy, subjective and all that. A dog and a baby switching bodies makes no sense. It literally made no sense because the scene where they're chasing the two-legged walking dog
that bothered
out of the
me.
house, that was terrible. That was just terrible for all reasons.
Well, not only that, so like they're chasing after this dog and then like almost gets run over by a car. And you have to remember, like in the movie, that's not which would be horrifying as it was if it was a dog that got run over by a car. But then you have to remember it's the soul of a human baby inside this dog. Like their child is almost getting run over by a car, but it's being played off for laughs. That was horrifying.
I don't even know if I want to talk about this, but I think we're gonna anyway because it's just the way this video is kind of going. I don't know if I really like body swap movies. There's so much creepiness that's like that comes with these movies when you really think about it. Like if you're switching bodies with your parents, we got to keep this PG. But if you're switching bodies with your parents, you're seeing some things you don't want to see as a kid or know as a kid about your parent. It gets kind of creepy. And this movie kind of leans into it in a lot of ways that I really did not enjoy. Brother and sister kissing. Yeah, I get it. It's for the gag and all that. Really freaking weird. When they're at the Ed Helms trying to be in the body of his son Wyatt at a high school party, flirting with all the girls as a 40-something-year-old man. And they make fun of it in the movie. They do address it. Doesn't make it less creepy. Not whatsoever. Especially when him and his sister are looking at each other and they're about to like... about to go at it, and even the girl's like, aren't they brother and sister? What the hell is this movie? I mean, I know Back to the Future had that with the son and the mom, and haha, it was a weird joke, and even that was a little bit. This movie just kind of goes all the way almost with it, Adam. What did you think of that? It's even weird to ask somebody that. What did you think of the brother and the sister almost hooking up?
I hated it.
I hated it.
It's just, I don't know. It's not a good trope. It's obviously
creepy.
It's been done before. Yeah, it's very creepy. I think that there there could, like, Freaky Friday, I think that works. That movie.
The story itself, I think the story itself, and I think you'll agree, is strong with that concept because it is a mother and daughter that don't understand each other, and it simplifies it, right? It's just that they don't understand. They're trying to see eye to eye. Mom, you're old and lame. Daughter, oh, you're rebellious and you don't care about anybody. And then they switch bodies and they live a mile in another's shoes or whatever and trade back, whatever. That concept does work. I think there is a place for it. This movie just doesn't handle it well at all because I don't know if it knows what it wants to necessarily do with this movie.
I think there is what you said earlier. I think there is the story there between perhaps the mother and the daughter. I think that maybe if they just swapped, and maybe the father and son, maybe if they just, helped solve each other's issues, and then just omit the baby and the dog completely, maybe we would have had a more coherent film.
That's an interesting thought. So let's throw that out there. So let's say we get rid of the baby and the dog, right? Let's say we get rid of that, and let's not make it a body swap movie, just because we don't need it. There's really no reason for it. If it was just the mother and the daughter and the father and the son just helping each other out, trying to trying to make the son cool and make the dad understand, and all that, like you just said, it could have been a better movie. I think it could have been.
Like, give some Christmas magic that makes them, help each other out. They have to solve their problems. Otherwise, something, whatever.
Right. Body swap was not it. Body swap was not
it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I could see that. John, what do you think of that? You think that would have helped some of the problems maybe with this movie?
Well, then this would have turned into a nice Hallmark movie, which was way better than this.
I mean, it pretty much is a Hallmark movie almost at that point anyway. It's not very far off.
This is even worse than a Hallmark movie. Like, Hallmark, at least, like, some shit makes sense. This is, like, absolute garbage. Nothing makes sense. And now you're going to kill off the dog and the baby? Come on, Kev. You can't be killing people off.
We're not killing them off. In our theoretical star, they don't exist in that movie. But, I could see that. Julie, what do you think of that? I think maybe there could have been a way to rearrange this a little bit. No?
No. Nope.
Ouch.
Nope. Burn it with fire.
Yeah, I just want to point something out, too. The director of this movie, do you know his name is Mick G? Is the name of the director of this movie? You're probably like, who the hell is Mick G? Does he work at McDonald's? No, he doesn't. I thought so, too. But I actually did a little bit of research into who this guy was. Oh, boy, it kind of makes sense now what he's directed. He's got at least like 50 projects under his belt that he's directed. A couple samples I would like to share with you is This Means War with Tom Hardy and Chris Pine and Reese Witherspoon. Not great. The Charlie Angels movies from the 2000s, both of them. That makes sense now. Almost every Smash Mouth music video known to mankind, he's directed. So, I guess.
Heck yeah.
There we go. So, I mean, that's some of his
There's
work.
The Weezer connection.
Terminator Salvation is another movie he directed, considered by many to be one of the worst Terminator movies. Okay, sure. Let's see. Shadowhunters, the TV show. Lethal Weapon, the TV show. That Turner and Hooch remake from the kid from Drake and Josh was in. Josh Peck was in. Okay, so he's a really bad director. Okay, he obviously just comes in and he just works on whatever they give him. Yeah, it's a mistake, this movie. I mean, everyone's here just for a paycheck. There's no soul to this movie. Why it's even a Christmas movie, I don't understand. I think just because it came out around Christmas, they literally could have filmed like the beginning of the movie and the end of the movie at a different time and just kind of stitched it on and said it was a Christmas movie. And that's kind of what you have here, honestly, because that's kind of what it feels like. But enough messing around. I think we spent more than enough time I really wanted to talk about this movie. Let's put a score on this one, guys. I'm going to give Family Switch a 2 out of 10.
I'm so happy we did this. I'm actually having so much fun.
Me too.
Why don't we do this more often?
What, crash high school parties in our kids' bodies?
No. I mean, go out together.
Oh, work, 3 kids, life.
When all this is over, we're going out more, like we used to, all right? I miss this. I miss you.
I miss you too.
Aren't they brother and sister?
This is a disaster, this movie. The only reason it gets a 2 is I do feel bad for Emma Myers, Cece. I think she actually did try a little bit in this movie, and her and Jennifer Garner they do have a couple like touching scenes, I guess, about like mother and daughter understanding each other. Even if all they were given to work with is Jennifer Garner's like, I'm busy work mom who's very high society and, you know, fancy, and Cece's like, soccer's my life. I have 2 soccer tattoos. Soccer, soccer, soccer. That's what I talk about. You know, but the rest of this movie is just hot garbage. Please don't watch this movie. Do yourself a favor. It's not interesting. It's not original. I wish there was just something I could say that was more positive about it, but there isn't. Fortunately, this is kind of what you get when people just want a paycheck. Adam, what do you think of this one?
I am right on board with you. I'm going to give Family Switch a 2 out of 10.
You're about to run the gauntlet.
What is that?
But it's very critical that you don't stay in one place less than 4 seconds or more than 7 seconds.
All right, so, yo, Ruggles, what's up, man? Heck of a game last Friday. Seriously, man, you look like Aaron Donald out there.
Hey, thanks, bud. Hey,
I got you, man.
I froze my ass off.
Oh, dude, I bet.
I couldn't agree more with everything you said. Like, there are some moments, and like I said earlier, there seems to be a story there between the mother and the daughter.
Yeah.
But it is not worth it at all.
No, like, please don't watch this. Like, don't watch this at all.
Yeah, just do yourself a favor. Just don't do it.
No, don't do it. I agree.
Watch the Polar Express.
Yeah, please. I mean, even that's... No, I'm just kidding. That's a good movie. Go watch that. This
I'd
is
watch
just...
that any day of the week over that.
Yeah, any day of the week. John, how about you, man? What do you think?
I would give this movie a 2.0.
What's wrong with pickles?
What's going on with Miles? Miles is Pickles.
Pickles is Miles.
Utter garbage crap. I'd even watch the Polar Express over this shit. And I would expect nobody else to have to go watch this crap ever again.
Yeah, so next time, John, when you put a movie on the list, make sure you research it a little beforehand, because this is
Listen,
what happens.
If I have to watch this hot garbage, so will you.
We watch it so you don't have to, ladies and gentlemen. Just throw it that way. Julie, put the final bullet into it. What do you think?
I'm going to be giving The Family Switch a 2 out of 10.
Is that who I think it is?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You can't do that. You can't do that, and you're gonna get kicked.
This movie was not fun. I remember when we were watching it the first half, as I was fighting consciousness, you're like, come on, you got to just try and finish it. You pause it, you're like, oh God, there's another hour left. Now we're done for the night. It was painful to get through. Is there glimmers of maybe some potential? Yes, but I think there's no way to say this. The baby and the dog was the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah, it sucks. You know, as an actor, I always wonder, like, you know, when you do a bad movie like this, like, how do you bounce back? And, you know, I don't know if Ed Helms and Jennifer Garner, I don't know if they really need to bounce back, right? Like, they've kind of done a lot of what they've done in their careers, and I think they're financially fine. Like, they don't have to worry anymore. I'm sure Ed Helms will show up in big comedies, and Jennifer Garner will do the same. They don't really act as much as now anyway. I really don't see them pop up as much, so... There's got to be something said for that. I think they used like their bigger successes. They financially secured themselves that way a little bit better. The younger actors, I'm not worried about, like Emma Myers, who played Cece, and then Brady Noon, who played Wyatt. They were fine. Like they're young. They'll be fine. They get like passes when they do movies like these. It's like, it's okay. You're younger and experienced. Like, do what you got to do. Get a paycheck, you know, put your name out there. Everybody else, like, you know, it's just amazing that movies like this are still made sometimes. You know, I can't even imagine like sitting in the pitch room for this movie. It's like, okay, guys, I found this thing called artificial intelligence. You type in an idea and it gives you a script. All right, Freaky Friday during Christmas with a family. The best part is the baby and the dog swap bodies. Hilarious. Tons of money right there. Yeah, no, it doesn't always work like that. You know, I wish it did, but let me know in the comments below. Did anyone actually enjoy this movie? If you did, please defend yourself from everyone in the comments is probably going to roll over you, because that's something I'd really like to hear. But otherwise, what are some of your favorite like body swap kind of movies? Because there are some really good ones. I know we named Freaky Friday, the original and the remake, Jamie Lee Curtis, obviously. Also Freaky. I love that horror movie with Vince Vaughn where he switches body with a teenage girl and he's like a serial killer. That's absolutely hilarious. Like, stuff like that works, but I'm curious to what you guys think in the comments. Let me know. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. But thank you all so much for joining us for this episode of The Real Review. My name's Kevin. That's John, Adam, and Julie. We are The Real Movie Guys. Real guys, real movies, real thoughts. We'll see you in the next one.
If you guys like what you've seen here today, consider giving this video a like and leaving your thoughts in the comments below.
If you want to stay up to date with everything Real Movie Guys related, make sure to hit that subscribe button and check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Don't forget, all you audio listeners at home, we are available on many podcasting platforms. Just search for Real Movie Guys, it should pop right up. Thank you again all so much for joining us on this episode of The Real Review. We are The Real Movie Guys. Real guys, real movies, real thoughts. Catch you next time.